suffered a bit of an oof. I stubbed my toe while I was walking over here. So after getting this, but so I've had a couple of you guys ask me about snake sheds, and in my last Q&A video, what was it, episode 3? Yeah, it'd be 3. You guys had a couple questions about snake sheds, and so I just thought this is gonna be a shorter video, but I just thought I'd show you guys like some sheds. I'm a bit of a weirdo, but I keep my sheds of my snakes to help keep track of who's growing and who's shed, and if they're shedding a lot, if they're growing a lot, type of thing. But on this one, a lot of you really do like Hercules, so this is actually hers. She shed, I think it was 2 days ago now. Just now getting this out of there because I attempted feeding her the other night. And so this was in there, so I wanted to wait for her to be out of her feeding frenzy before I went and retrieved this so I didn't get bit. Not that she really has a feeding frenzy, I'm just playing it safe. But as you can see, there's a little bit of her substrate in here, which this is just mulch. It's not even sharp, just to let you guys know. She did not impale herself with it. She actually used it to peel her skin off, her shed off. Yeah, this entire thing, if unwound, I'd have to let it soak probably to fully unwind it. I don't know what she did, but this isn't this is the best shit I've gotten from her in a while though. But I just thought I'd show off some sheds that I have. Believe this bin is just hognose sheds, but it should just be. There's a couple of Percy's in here. This one's Percy's. As you can see, there's no patterning on this thing at all. And that's because he's an albino and they lack pigments. So, well, dark pigments. Which dark pigments, as you can see on this one, Hercules is all dark brown. So that darker color is what's her dorsal color. Dorsal coloration is. And then her ventral coloration is the white part. So dorsal just means on the back, on the top area, and then ventral is the stomach area. But so that's why I know this is Percy's, is because since he lacks melanin, melanin is one of the pigments that shows up the best on shed skins. There's no markings at all on this, so that's how I know it's his. Let's see, there's a couple tricolor ones in here. Yeah, like this one. Now this is the cleanest tricolor shed I have. Yeah, they show up. So this is a reshoot. I did this video before, but I didn't realize half of it got corrupted, so redoing it. But yeah, the dark stripes right here, the dark bands on this are because it's a tricolor, and they do have melanin stripes. They have black stripes. So, or not stripes, bands. And also, you're going to hear me correct myself with that. So, just to do a visual, which, man, am I glad I kept these sticky notes. So this is banding. Banding, so the head of the animal's up here, tail's down here, whatever. The body's running like this. That's banding. Striping. I'll draw arrows just to make it a little easier. Wow, I'm going into a little bit of a color pattern video now. But, I should specify. So, this is the difference between striping and banding. The arrows are to show the lengthwise of the body, so the body in this case would be running this way. Stripes go along the body, banding goes across the body. But I'll put this up here for future reference, because I'll probably be referencing this in another video at some point. But yeah, so that's why you'll hear me say banding instead of, and like if I say striping, I'll correct myself and say banding afterwards. It's because the only animal I have with striping on it would be Cheerio, and that's because he is a G-stripe morph of a ball python. Now, none of my hognoses have any form of striping pattern, so for they're actually, Western hognoses are blotching, which, you know what, I'll make that its own video, of a color pattern video. Because that's a topic that probably deserves its own thing, because if any of you out there are aspiring to be snake breeders, that'd probably actually be pretty helpful to learn what people in the herping community, which are, it's going to have its own video too, just to explain what herping means. Basically, they'll refer to, like, snakes out in the wild will have certain patternings, and that's how you can tell certain localities apart. Actually, you know what, both of those topics will just be in the same video, because they feed into each other to some extent. But back to the shed skin. A lot of these are dirty. The ones with the cocoa fiber in them, tricolor. The ones with, like, this one right here, this one's Andromeda's. You can tell because there's actually splotches of black in there, and then you can see that there's wood shavings, but it's aspen shavings. That's how you know that it's a hog nose, is if there's aspen versus the cocoa. The cocoa fiber is tricolor because it helps boost humidity. But yeah, these are all hog noses, and here's Hercules, massive skin lump. Let's see. These bigger ones are all Momos, but it's like, you can't even really see patterning on them just because of how dirty they are. So I'm not going to really show those off. But, come on. Here are some broken sheds of Hercules. This one's just really all jaggedy up. On this one, she did, whenever I get around to showing off, not showing off, but showing the enclosure she has, which her enclosure is exactly the same as how it was when I received her. Because I actually didn't buy Hercules. She was gifted to a club I was in high school, and she was then gifted to me by the teacher who ran the club. So yeah, this is actually a good piece to show. So this side feels really textured. That's because this side was actually the side that was on the snake. This is the outer side. It kind of inverts the texture because it's being pulled off. So it kind of turns it into the opposite effect. So you can feel texture on this side and it feels smooth on this side. That's because this is actually the inside, this is the smooth side is the outside. Which is kind of interesting. It took me a little bit to figure that out. But my leopard geckos, they eat their shed skins, so I don't get to see them that often. But then these little balls are Cheerios. He's actually grown so much. I threw out a couple of his last ones while I was cleaning the cage because he shed, then he pooped on his shed. So obviously I'm not going to keep that. But this was his first one that he ever had with me. And I also know that because this is back when I had all of my snakes on aspen shavings, and then I was corrected by one of my friends. She was all like, actually, you should probably have your ball pythons on cypress mulch, and they've been doing a lot better, so I've been keeping them on it. Yeah, you can tell just because of how small, maybe it'll be better on this side, how small the scales are on this. Plus the ball itself is just tiny compared to this one. This was the one that came two sheds after. Yeah, this one's going to go into Hercules bin thing. Not that there's a whole lot of room for it, but yeah, so I just like to keep these when they're decently intact and they're not pooped on or like shredded to bits, because that happens sometimes when they're rubbing up against some rougher stuff in their cages. But that's pretty much it. It was just kind of a weird, impromptu, impulse video that I was like, oh, this might be cool. And then I ended up having questions in the Q&A thing, so I was like, well, I originally wasn't going to refilm it because it got corrupted, and I was like, it's probably a weird video. But then I had people asking me about Shed, so I was like, this would be an interesting follow-up video to that Q&A. So, yeah, this will be airing after that. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And honestly, thank you guys so much for subscribing. I still can't believe that I have over 30 subscribers now. I didn't, like I said in my New Year's thing, I didn't think that I was going to even make it past like 10 or 15 in the first year of having the channel. So honestly, I'm super thankful. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. And just continually like enjoying my content and watching the videos. It means so much to me. Anyways, I'll see you guys around in the next one.